So in the last class, where did we stop, Yuvraj? What we were doing in the last?
The last class we stopped in inherent identifiers, characteristics, like that specification.
Okay, have I given you all the definitions for these things?
Yeah. Yeah, you given the specification.
Characteristics.
Yeah.
Up to
Specification,
characteristics, I have told you.
specification category, specification types, substance, agent, property, everything you explained. Types of VAT, inherent.
Okay, okay, okay. And I was explaining the different tabs we have, and up to relationship tab, I think I told you what are the users of each tab. And apart from this, did I tell you how to create a new specification?
No.
No. Okay. So we'll see how to create the specification today,
Okay.
and how to generate the reports from the existing specifications, and also we'll see how to create a custom specification. These are some of the things what we are going to learn. Okay, so first off, I hope you people know what the definitions I gave you. What is a specification? What are the different tabs we have? Why do we use each of these tabs? I hope everything is clear. You don't have any doubt. Or if there is anything you need to ask me, you can ask now. Any doubt if you have, you can ask me. I'll clarify that before we go ahead to creating specification. Okay.
Last week finally we discussed about the inherents. So
Inheritance. Yeah.
Yeah, inherent. That inherent, you tell me once again this inherent, and in the inherent also we have some issue. Last time you picked up something, but it's not working properly.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So I'll tell you regarding the inheritance. Okay, we'll try to inherit data from other specification, and then I'll tell you. So basically, be it inheritance or reference, what we are doing is we are copying the data from other specifications, and we are using the data in our own specification. That is nothing but either by using referencing or inheritance. Okay, and I also told you what is the difference between referencing and inheritance. I hope even that is clear with you. So here, the referencing specification, I'll just delete it because I cannot use both referencing as well as inheritance. It is not allowed. Let me delete this. Then go to inheritance. So how to create an inheritance? For that, you have to click on this create inheritance relationship. Then under the source, you have to select the specification which you want to, from which you want to copy the data. You can select listed substance as a specification type, and it will give you a list of listed substances. So you can choose any one among this for copying the data into your specification. Let's say this L106L, and I want to copy the entire data without specifying any particular, either like physical chemical properties or standard properties. I want to copy whatever data is available in my L106L. Let's continue. Okay. So now today there has been no error. Okay. So here you can see that it is showing that consistent, means whatever the data we try to copy is consistent with our original specification. Okay. So this is one way. Then you can save this. And I don't know if I was able to show you that symbol how it appears. Let me try. Okay. See here, the green tick mark is nothing but if you have assigned any value to your characteristic manually, then this green tick mark is going to appear. What I mean by that, let me go to this physical chemical properties under color. This translucent color has been assigned here manually. I mean, we have not copied this data. This data was available under the options of color characteristic, and we selected this translucent color. Okay, that is why it is known as a manual assignment. But similarly, if you see under this toxicological information, you find that the data has been actually inherited. It has been inherited. So that is a symbol that signifies it is an inherited data. So if you go inside this toxicological information, you can find the three values, the three value assignment types: acute oral toxicity, inhalation toxicity, and dermal toxicity. All these three values have been copied from our L102L specification. Okay, it has been copied. Let me go to this dermal toxicity, and you can see that the data record was inherited. It was inherited from another specification. That is a meaning. Okay, and one more thing, like I was telling in the last class, if you inherit the data, any changes made to the inherited specification, those changes will not reflect in your original specification. So whatever the species, value type, whatever we have here, this has been inherited. If I open a new window, let me open a new window. Listed systems. It was 106, right? Let me cross it. I don't want to again miss this. Let me check once. Again I'll come back. Yeah, it is 106L. Fine. So under 106L, this is what we have copied. 106L. I'll open this, and if you go to the toxicological information, and here acute dermal toxicity. Okay, so this is the data that we have actually inherited from here. What happens if you change the data? Let's say the species they have selected is rabbit. What will happen if I change? Because in referencing, I showed you, once you change any data, in the reference specification, those changes will reflect even in your original specification. I'll change it here from rabbit to humans. Now we have human. Save this value, humans. Okay, then go back to your other specification and refresh. Oh, great. It is changing here as well. Okay, I change the data. See, normally what happens is, if you are using inheritance, then the data should not change. Okay, if you make any changes in your inherited data, it should not reflect. But I don't know why it is changing here. In each server, it is giving different results. I'm myself getting confused. So as per what we know, what we have seen all these years, referencing is something that will have a relationship with your reference data and your original specification. So any change in your reference data will reflect in your copied data, in copied specification. But the same thing is not possible when you are using inheritance. But here, I don't know why. If I make the changes here in this specification, those changes are reflecting in my 017 specification. But anyways, I'll sort this out because this should not happen. Actually, the data should not change here. Okay. Now let us go and pass this same data to other specifications. Okay, we go here. We have inherited from this L106, and whatever data we have inherited, if you want to pass it on to other specifications, you have to come to the below section. Substance 017 passes on to and add a specification to which you want to pass the data. Again, I will select all. and target specification. Let's say enter. Okay. Let's say you want to send this to confined space, okay, to the sample underscore GB. You want to pass the same data to this sample GB. Okay. So this same data, whatever you copied from L106L, that data will first be copied to 017 specification, and it will be passed on to any other specification which you are mentioning here in the below section. And also you can pass it on to any number of specifications. It is not that if you are copying from one specification, it has to be sent to just one specification. At the same time, you can distribute the data to any number of specifications as you want. Okay, this is just one example which I am showing here. But remember, again, there is, I don't know, this server is giving a different result. When I am changing any data in our L106L, it is again changing, reflecting the same changes. That should not happen. So what I will do, I hope you understood now inheritance. Is there any doubt in inheritance? We are inheriting the data from another specification and passing that same data to a different specification. This is known as inheritance, where we have two options. One is incoming data, outgoing data. Whereas in referencing, it is just incoming data. You cannot again connect that data to any other specification. That is not possible. Are we clear up to this? Error. Okay, 1 second. Maybe because this on the other screen it is open, maybe that is why it is not deleted. Let me again save this and come out of the screen. Same error is coming here also. Okay, I want to delete this data, but okay, no problem. It is actually not deleting. Because of some reason, I'm not able to delete this inheritance. Let me try to more reference assignment is possible. Okay, I have to again go to some other specification. It's not possible to add reference here. Let me do one thing. Select another specification and use referencing. The real systems. Okay, Xylene. Xylene already has a reference. Let me use butane. Okay, this is just reference. No inheritance. Okay, so I have opened another specification. This is a butane under real substance, where already we have one reference value. So one reference is already used from demo 206L. Okay, from this specification, we have copied the data. Now, what I will do, since in this server, I change the data in inherited specification, it is reflecting those changes. Let me try to do the same thing for reference specification. And let us see if it is changing the data or is it not changing. So that is one way that we can find out, we can cross check whether there is some issue with the server or why it is not happening. Let me open this labeling. North America, Europe, and Latin. Okay, one more thing. It is demo 206L, CT02BB. Demo 206L. Open the specification. Then go to regulatory information, labeling, and under labeling, we were in Europe labeling again. Let us change some data here. I'll change this revision. There is no other value. Regulatory list. I'll make it as 14 in CFR. Enter. Save this data. Then come here. This is also happening. In this server, both the data are changing. I mean, if you are using inheritance, even in that case, the data is getting changed. And if I'm using referencing, even that is getting changed. So for sure, there is some problem with the server. Okay, because only in referencing, any changes in the data has to reflect. In inheritance, it should not happen. But that is not the case here. The regulatory list is clearly getting changed as I'm changing here on the other screen. So that is something of a concern. But remember what I told you, it should
So
not
any
happen in inheritance. It should not. Yeah.
so any data if we are changing in that the reference will change, but inherent is permanent data, na? It won't change any.
It should not change. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
But here, as I showed you in the previous example, even the inheritance data is changing, which should not happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I think that is some kind of a malfunction, in the server. And by the way, these demo servers will have lot of issues. So, Yuvraj, even while you are practicing, don't be
Okay.
surprised because it will be like behaving differently each time. It will have so many errors inherent. So actually, in your real-time system, only the referencing data will change, but your inheritance data will not change. That is what we know from our experience, and also this is what we have been seeing from so many years. Okay, I changed again here. The related changes should happen once I refresh this. Okay, yeah, it is changed. But anyways, not an issue. The basic differences between inheritance and referencing, you just be clear with that. I think that will be more than sufficient. Okay. Any other doubt concerning the specification with respect to the header data or value assignment types or anything else? Just wanted to show you that inheritance, but remaining most of the things is pretty much clear. But you practice this. See, until and unless you don't practice and see for yourself, you will not understand. Because what I'm saying is everything theory until and unless you don't do it yourself. So I want you people to, practice this, create specifications, change the data from the available specifications. Then you will have a clear idea how this works. Okay, so now I'll show you how to create a specification. This is not a custom specification, by the way. You just have to enter few details and then your new specification will be ready. That is quite easy. So how to create a specification? Double click on your substance, or if you come from the beginning, let's say You come from here, first transaction code. You will come to the initial screen wherein it is in display mode. Then you have to double click on substance. So you want to create a new specification under substance category. That is what your intention is. Now what you have to do, click on this edit or display button, because right now we are in display mode. Click on this edit button, and a second button will appear just beside this, create. Click on create and give a name to your specification, any name that you anything like materials. Let's say this material underscore 01. Okay, or let's say mat underscore specification 01. And specification type you have to select, because the substance category has so many specification types, which I already told you. Pure substance, listed substance, real substance, diet, etc., etc. So many specification types are there, including your user created specification types. So if you want to create any new specification under real substance, that has to be selected as the specification type. Next, select what is the nature of the substance for which you are getting specification. This is not a mandatory data, but yeah, if you want to assign any nature to your specification, you can assign it. Either call it as a chemical, catalyst, whatever is the nature of this specification, you assign that as a substance nature. Next, you can add a note or comment related to your specification. Like it's a sample specification of real substance. Okay, something like this. You can add a note. Then if you press enter, this new specification will be created and it will be added to the list. To this list, this new specification will also be added. So press enter. Okay, continue, save your data first.
And yeah, to this specification name has some specific stand,
Sorry.
or it can be named with any underscore and a special mark.
Yeah, it is allowed. You can use that. See, we were using some old servers there. The requirement was the first letter should always be starting with Y or Z. Nowadays, that requirement is not there. Why? Because the letters starting from A to X are actually reserved for SAP usage. Only the SAP can use these letters from A to X. So when we were used to create before, no, those specifications used to start with Y or Z. Then it used to continue with whatever we want to create. That was a requirement. But nowadays it is not required. You can create any name, any specification. Hmm. Okay, it is added. Yeah, it has been added. This is a new specification I have created, and this specification is created under real substance specification type. And now for this specification, whatever the characteristics I want to maintain, I can maintain under my value assignment types. Okay. Or if I want, first I can define the restrictions, identifiers, all these I can fill the tab values, and then I can come to this value assignment type. It is my wish. But before you can create any data, first you have to create at least one identifier. Otherwise, what will happen? Let me show you. Let's say if I want to assign some values to the possible hazards, when I go here, it will ask me, first you have to save the data, say yes, you have to save the data. Then it will say that you should at least create one identifier. This is the requirement for new specifications. Say yes, go to the identifier, select any identifier category. It can be name, number, chemical formula, indicator, anything. You can use any of these identification category. And I told you in the last class, see, what is an identifier? Why do we use identifiers? I have already told you. Please remember them, because I'll be asking from one class to the other class what I have done in the previous sessions. So it is for your good. You should remember these things. Select name as the identifier category. When I say name category, what name? What exactly do I mean by name? It can be a customer name. Then go to identifier and say material one. I can give an identifier like this. Okay. Or if you want to add a number, we can create one more identifier with number. And now again you have to select the ID type. Number, when I say what number do I mean? It can be label number, material number, OEM number, can be any of those things. Yeah, let it be a material number 10089. Okay, add this and then save your data. Okay, so before you can start entering the data under your value assignment types, this has to be created. Identifier category, at least one identifier has to be created. Now you can go to any of this chemical product and company or composition, or you can go to your possible hazards, and here you can maintain the data. Just like how I have shown before, you can maintain whichever data you want to appear on your reports. You can select the data here. Because remember, each material or each chemical will have a different set of data. It will not be the same. So you have to select the data which is suitable for your substance, and you have to maintain this data and save it. May cause allergic respiratory reaction. Skin. We can add some data here. Causes skin burns. So all those data which are actually printed on a MSDS, those data you have to select here. Manually, you have to enter everything. There may be hundreds of value assignment types. It doesn't matter. If you want to maintain your own data without using referencing or without using any inheritance, then you have to fill all this manually. Okay, so let's say we maintained up to this, then save this data. Next, you can go to type of substance, and similarly, you can maintain the data here. So as per your requirement, you have to select whatever the choices you are getting in the list. So which is more suitable for your chemical or for your substance, that you need to select, and you have to save the data. Notified substance. Let's say it is a notified substance. Mixture or pure substance. It's a pure substance, you can say. And then save this data again. Now you may be understanding why we need referencing and inheritance. Imagine if you have to fill all the data here. Okay, how much time will it need? Just imagine. 1 second, I'm putting on. Okay. Now, did you understand why we need referencing and inheritance? See, just imagine in this MSDS, there are 16 sections. So all the 16 sections, you have to go and you have to maintain the data, which is quite a daunting task. That is why you have to use referencing. So this is how you can maintain the data under your new specification, and then also go to your tabs and you can apply the restrictions to your specification. You can assign any material if you want to your specification, and then maintain the status. At least you should use the restriction tab, identifier tab, and the status tab. At least these tabs have to be filled with the real data. Even if you don't use referencing, even if you don't assign material, that is okay, optional. But identifier is a mandatory data. Restrictions you have to apply, and status you have to maintain. Okay, so here also select the rating. Rating I told you last time. Which are the group of people, okay, to whom you want to give the rights to change the header data. So it can be either your internal users, it can be public. You can select any group of people. These are group of users or group of people whom you are providing the access. Let's say internal people. Okay, and under validity area category, you will have region, you will have plants, you will have customer or supplier. All these are the categories. These are the categories. Let's say region and validity area I can give as India. Save wherever you create a new data, save before going on. Go to status, select internal, validity area category region, validity area India, status in process. Okay, and not only that, if you want to add any person, okay, responsible person for maintaining this specification, you can even add that. That's not an issue, but this is also optional. So here you have to select either as per his designation, you can select as per the name of the employee, you can select. There are again various options. Here you can see under object type you have work center, job, or it can be an organizational unit, or it can be a person, or any person position if you want to add. Let's say let's go to position. In position, it will give me the options of different work positions. For example, search here, press enter. Finance manager is there, service technician is there. All these are different roles, okay, roles of the employees. Service technician will definitely not be the person, not even human resources. Rewards manager, payroll, accounts, labor network, programmer, occupational health nurse. Okay. Nobody in safety. Let's check. Senior training consultant, director, electrician, machinist, mechanic, welder, manager. Okay. We have manager, project manager, president. Lot of people are except safety. I don't find safety anywhere. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's make this vice president as the responsible who can manage our specification data. We can assign him. Okay. Then press enter and save this data. This server has hanged, I believe. Let me close it, okay, and I'll relog it again. That is why you should, wherever you create the data, make it a practice to save your work. Sometimes it will get stuck like this, and if you just close it without saving your work, everything will be gone. You have to again create from the beginning. Okay. One 83, 82, 120, 7. Okay, let's go to specification management, substance. I had created this material specification, and maybe we have to continue again from our status. Maybe I did not save this. Edit, again enter it. Okay, then go to the person responsible and enter that role. Now let us use person. Instead of position, we'll use person, so that we can access the employee database and select any employee. Enter. Select any employee from the list and then press enter. Okay, all the remaining details, description of each of these data objects will be filled. And now again save your specification. Okay, this is the process. After this, if you want to assign any material, you can even assign it, material or plant, whichever you want to assign. So for this material specification 01, if you have created this for any particular material, you can search that material and you can assign it. Let's say it is related to some capsule. Okay, assign that material and save the data again. This is how you can create a specification. And remaining data value assignment type, like I told you, you have to, if you are doing this in real time, then you have to fill all the data end to end. All the data has to be filled manually. Okay, so this is the process to create a specification. Any doubt in this? Any question?
Just one small question, sir. So
Yes, yes.
while using inheritance,
Hmm.
so all these characteristics will remain the same apart from these restrictions identifiers which we have placed individual for that
Yeah, this is for the
for the
entire
specific
specification.
particular specification.
Yeah, it is only for this specification, entire specification. This is not for
And the
each
characteristics
value
will remain
assignment.
same during the inheritance.
It will be same. It will be same. It will not change.
Mhm.
See,
Yes, okay.
okay, I'll tell you, see, if I got your confusion. See, when I say material safety datasheet property tree, you take any specification, you will find same characteristics. If you go to possible hazards, under possible hazards, if you go to type of substance, whatever characteristics you are seeing, type of substance, mixture or pure substance, these characteristics will remain same for all the specifications. Why? Because right now we are in material safety datasheet property tree. If I change this property tree, only then the characteristics will change. Okay, let me show you an example. What I'll do is I'll change the property tree. Now, I'll go to industrial hygiene. Okay, see here. So this is a different set of value assignment types. Here the characteristics will be different. Go to safety measures, go to hand protection. Okay, see here. These are different characteristics. Why they are different? These characteristics will not be there in my MSDS property tree, because right now we are in industrial hygiene property tree. So in this property tree, these are the value assignment types which are available. Okay, and if you want to maintain that data, you can again assign each of these values to the characteristic and you can save your data. So you can toggle between different types of property trees. For the same specification, you can maintain the data under material safety data sheet and also under industrial hygiene, and also you can go to hazardous substance and maintain the data if this material is a hazardous substance. Okay, you have that flexibility. You can change this property tree anytime. But when I go to material safety data sheet, you select any other specification. The data, the characteristics, or the values and types will be the same. There will be no change at all. Okay, is it clear now?
I need to know, sir, that the headers which we were having over the
Yeah.
above, the specification, restriction, material assignment, so that will remain unchanged if we use the inheritance.
That will not change. That will not change.
Okay, okay.
Because see, Shivdeep, what we are doing, we are actually copying the data of that specification. Okay, so this is just a administration data. I can call this as a administration data. But the real data of any chemical or any substance, that will be residing in our value assignment type. So when I use referencing, when I use inheritance, this data will not change, but the value assignment type data will change, because this is where we are going to copy the data. This is our actual specification data, not this one. This is just administration data. That will remain same.
Yeah, okay, sir, okay.
Okay, yeah. So I know. Just remember one thing: you either use inheritance or reference. The tabs, the data in your specification header or any other tab, that will not change. Only your value assignment type data is going to change, because this is the data that will be copied from other specifications. Okay. Fine. So this is how you can create a specification. I hope you have noted down how to create it. And when you are ready with the server, please, I want you to create one specification. Create one new specification, just like how I showed you. Okay, fine. Next, how do we generate? So what is the end use of this specifications? Why do we create specifications? What are we planning to do? The end result of any specification is to generate the reports. They may be either MSDS reports, they may be some product compliance reports, they can be labels, or any kind of data. They can be related to agent data. The end result of any specification is that we want to generate the reports, or we want to use this data in any other application. Like for example, while preparing risk assessment, you can use this specification data. Or while you are preparing exposure profile, you can use this specification data. While you are creating measurement project, I mean, to measure the agents or the hazards, if you want to create a measurement sheet, there also you can use this specification data. There are a lot of applications of specifications. One of the application is to generate a report out of this specification. So how do you generate a report? First, select whichever specification you want to use for generating report. It can be anything like this: easy, clean, ChemStar. This specification. Right click on the data, on that specification. Go to reports. Okay, and then you have this report from template. Report from template. Click on report from template. Then it will ask you for generation variant. See, generation variant is a function that controls which data has to be entered into my report. This will come later in your product safety. I will tell you in detail what is a generation variant. But here you just remember, generation variant is a function which controls the data. What data has to go into my report, that will be controlled by my generation variant. Depending on your restrictions, I mean, what is the validity area you are using? Depending on that, it will control the data. For now, just remember this. Select the generation variant. And this generation variant depends on what kind of report you want to generate. Whether you want to generate MSDS report, whether you want to generate raw material specification or packaging specification, it is your wish. First, you have to decide what kind of report you want to generate from this. Let's say I want to generate MSDS report, but that format should be as per USA. As per this MSDS ANSI standard is, as per this format, I want to generate a MSDS. And remember one more thing. Don't think everywhere same kind of MSDS is used. No, it depends on the region. It depends on a country. Okay, what kind of template they are using in that particular country, and it will be different. If you compare the MSDS report of USA, it will be quite different from what is used in Germany or France. Okay, similarly, the MSDS reports that are used in Asian countries will be different than what is used in Australia or South America. It all depends, okay, from country to country, what kind of MSDS template they are using. So that is the reason while you want to create a report, when you want to generate a report, you should first select which template you want to use. So let's say I want to use this NA MSDS template. Select this generation variant. Okay, then click on this display button. Yuvraj, I suppose you know what is MSDS. I'm sorry, I didn't ask you. MSDS is something that we are familiar in EHS. Okay, maybe you are not familiar.
Yeah, right now
You
I
know,
am.
right? What is?
Yeah, right now I'm checking what about them. What is MSDS and all that. I'm checking. Already I'm checking that.
Okay, no, see, you can tell me, Yuvraj, no problem. I'll explain to you and we can go ahead. Nothing to be in hurry. See, MSDS means, you know what? Whenever you purchase any chemical or any product, okay, along with the product, the companies will provide you instruction leaflet. That
Okay.
leaflet will contain how you are supposed to use that product, okay, what are the dangers of that product. If it catches fire, what kind of fire extinguisher you need to use, okay. And if you, let's say by accidentally, if you are exposed, if it goes into your eyes or if it goes into your mouth, you know what first aid measure you have to take, and the emergency telephone number of the manufacturer, and where do you have to store. I mean, if there is any special requirement that you have to store below 16 degrees Celsius, then they will mention that information.
Temperature
So
oriented,
MSDS is not,
place oriented,
yeah, exactly.
different situations and places where we can use this like that, na?
Exactly. And if
Yeah.
it is a chemical, and if you want to use it, what are the personal protective equipment you have to use? Should you wear gloves? Should you wear goggles? Okay,
Yeah.
or do you need any safety shoes to be worn at that time? All these instructions are there, no, from the safety perspective. All that information will be given in a MSDS.
Okay.
See, simple example, when you go and purchase any, let's say, tablets or any medicine, when you purchase from the medical, along with that medicine, they will give you one instruction leaflet. In that, they will mention all the details of the product. If children can take this medicine or not, or what are the side effects of this medicine. Okay, at what temperature should you keep this medicine? All that information they will give.
Okay.
Similar to that, we have this MSDS.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, but remember one thing: this MSDS is not given for food items. Okay, they are not given to any consumer goods.
Okay.
MSDS is mainly given for chemicals or for fuels, etc., etc. So that is why, see here. Here you can see on my screen there is an example MSDS where you have hazards, first aid measures, what kind of first aid measures you have to take in case of exposure, and then if you come below firefighting measures, what firefighting measures have to be utilized for if it catches fire, and if it accidentally is released or if it gets spilled, then how do you contain that exposure? What is the procedure to handle the chemical and how you should store it? Physical chemical properties of that chemical. All this is maintained in a MSDS.
Okay.
Stability and reactivity, toxicological information, ecological information. Let's say you finish that paint. Let's consider it as a paint. If you
So this
completely use the tell you, Raj.
Yeah, so this MSDS report will use for the only chemical properties only, na? Only chemical properties.
Mostly we will use it for chemicals, MSDS.
Other than that, what else?
Other than that?
No, other than
This
that,
MSDS. You mean the report you are asking? What kind of reports we can generate apart from MSDS? Is that what you are asking?
Yeah. I am asking what kind of if the chemical properties are generating the MSDS.
Yeah.
Other than that chemical properties, what kind of material we are using to generate this MSDS report? What kind of material we can use?
Yeah, any kind of material. See, I will generalize it. I will put it in general terms. Any material because of which it may cause harm to your health,
Okay.
it may cause harm to the environment, or it may cause harm to the marine life. Anything that can affect the health of the human beings, animals, or the environment. Okay, for all those materials, we have to use MSDS.
Okay.
Anything, even your battery, I mean, the mobile phone battery, even that is something dangerous. It's hazardous. So you need to have a MSDS even for that.
Okay.
Okay, or any substance, let's say petrol or crude oil. You need to have a MSDS for that. Because it can cause harm, no? It can catch fire.
Yeah.
Okay, so for any of these, you have to use MSDS, or we also call it as SDS, safety data sheet. So all the information contained in MSDS will be relevant to safety.
Okay.
Okay, you can again take it as a the assignment or something. You learn as much as possible related to MSDS.
Okay.
And see, along with all these things, they will also print the name of the manufacturer, address of the manufacturer, and emergency contact numbers. So that if you are not able to understand, what action you need to take in case of fire, you can immediately call them. They will guide you. Or if somebody accidentally has swollen this hazardous material, thinking that it is water or something, you can immediately call them. They will guide you. So emergency telephone numbers will also be included in the MSDs.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, these are just general things I have told you.
Okay.
See here, first aid measures. After skin contact, what is the action you need to take? You have to wash it off with warm water and soap. So who will prepare this data? Any manufacturer who knows about the properties of this material, only he can guide you what action you need to take. That is why they will prepare this MSDS. Again, it is a mandatory. As per regulation also, they have to provide this information.
Okay.
Okay.
In specification, when we are entering about this any chemical property which we don't know about this the reactions or the behavior of the material, anything, is there any inbuilt data in this SAP? Is there any inbuilt data there if you're entering the chemical property?
Yeah, inbuilt data only. No, see, I will show you one more time. Okay, let's go back. See, for example, I am creating some specification as an example. Now, let me open this demo 2023L. Okay, it got disconnected.